change, this very important and seismic change in international relations, in trade relations, in various other forms of cooperation. I think the problem inside is not that America and the West have not benefited from globalization. It's a matter of redistribution, as Professor Kimura said. Because in the area of technology, in the area of services, in the area of insurance and finance and IT, it's difficult to distribute because there are only a group of people who are in control, who are in charge, who are in custody, ownership of these excellence that have been driven out of America to the rest of the world. Now, while we, on our side, are able to redistribute better, of course there's room for improvement, but we do better. So in that sense, the inequality and inequity and the loss of employment in America has driven into this sense of protectionism. It's going to be very difficult to correct. It's going to be very, very difficult to achieve. That is going to drive to more frustration, and that is going to drive to, in the end, more protectionism. Collective bargaining, TPP is certainly collective bargaining. APEC is collective bargaining. When the rest of us who are smaller can come together and ask for concession from the larger and biggest economy, that has been working for some time. Both sides benefit. Now, collective bargaining among countries are out of the window. It has to be bilateral, it has to be one-on-one, and it has to be me first. That is going to create a sense of alienation. And I hate to say it, there might be a sense of ugly American lurking on those landscapes around the world. That if the only thing that is going to be acceptable is for America first, America first, America first, the rest of the world are going to feel alienated, insecure, and there will be that sense, which was the 50s and the 60s, that anti-America, anti-Americanism, in this sense, anti-Trumpism is going to rise around the world, and that's going to be very, very unfortunate.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Chada, please. Yes. Your remarks on if you have.
I have very brief remarks because I had presented already, and I echo with what has been said, that the world has moved away from what it used to be in 50s, 60s, and 70s, and the global supply chains and comparative advantage, shifting comparative advantage is in the works, and the kind of factories that Trump is thinking are no more there, and there is going to be a difficult time. I am only commenting on one thing. I think job creation would mean reskilling the workers. Job creation would mean shifting to other sectors, not necessarily manufacturing in the US. And as I said, the befitting response would be a unified, a united Asia, where TPP 11 would be one leg, but India is reasonably interested in deeper integration in Asia with joining RCEP and hence move towards globalization. And lastly, Asia exerting its power to move to multilateral rules if we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because of the time, I have to limit the last panel, last round, so in about 9 minutes because of the lunch. So lunch will begin. So I would like to ask you about the multilateral trade agreement or regional cooperation. On your short remarks. There are many ideas in play, TPP 11 and RCEP, or ADB, IIB, or OBOR, One Belt, One Road. So what is your preference? What is your preference? What would be the most important thing from your point of view? So the brief remark from Mr. Stream, Dr. Stream, please.
I think fairness is important. I think every initiative has not only economic rationale behind it, there is also strategic and political. I think we have to be careful that the benefits are also shared with all the countries involved. It's not going to be just a policy that is driven by the interests of the countries who originated the idea. Otherwise, that's why multilateralism is so important. That's why the ADB, Regional Development Banks, are more preferred rather than one driven by one particular country. Because I think countries who are at the receiving ends would like to know exactly for what purpose, who will benefit more. Is it equally distributed, or is it only serving the purpose of countries that have originated these ideas? So fairness and equitable benefits or distribution of the benefits from all these initiatives are going to be extremely important and decisive in the success of such initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then Dr. Lee, I'd like to ask you about the same question. So probably many participants in Japan have some concern on the OBOR, for example, which may lead to the dominance of the Chinese influence. So what can you argue with that? So brief remarks, sorry.
Thank you. OBOR is proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping, but there are many misunderstandings on its target and the way out. I emphasize one idea, the moral and profit. According to the idea, the One Belt One Road should achieve both targets, firms' investment return, and the state's good reputation or soft power, which means One Belt One Road isn't a foreign aid project, now a pure FDI. For a long time, Chinese overseas investment neglected the non-economic target, which resulted in a dilemma. The more investment, the poor national image. Frankly, we haven't designed a mechanism that achieve both firms' target and national target, but we are trying to do, such as coordinating China's policy and host countries' policy to urge the firm undertake the social responsibility. Another example, getting the firms invest in green industries by financial and monetary tools, and other building economic corridor. For example, OBOR consists of 6 economic corridors. There are different from the private economic cooperation model, for example, some symbolic big interest, instead of the project to benefit people livelihood. In other words, the economic corridor have positive spillover effect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Chada, you have mentioned about multilateral cooperation and the multilateral trade system already, but you can, if you would add something, please. Yeah.
Anything specific that?
Yeah. For example, I would argue about its intention of the RCEP of the Indian intention, so early agreement.
Right. As I mentioned earlier, that bilaterals generally complicate life in the sense that you have to do it one by one with different countries, and sometimes the ex-ante studies are not done. However, in order to avoid trade diversion and in order to avoid inefficient allocation of resources across the countries, India looks forward to joining a bigger bloc. India-EU has been in discussion for a long time, but moving back to Asia has been, in fact, it used to be Look Asia, but with the new regime, it is Act Asia. So when it is Act Asia, India has serious interests in joining ASEAN Plus 6, and the interests lie because of we would like to move our trade, diversify our trade, and one thing that I should have discussed, India is still not part of the global value chains where the jobs could have come and income distribution could have been. So what I was talking about, Akamatsu's flying geese phenomena, we still lack the global supply chains participation, and a lot of unemployment which is at very low level of skills cannot be given by ICT industry or services, which we always keep talking about. A lot has to come from the global supply chains, and hence being a part of RCEP is one of the top priorities. I am an academician. I don't represent government, but I'm sure the government is also looking into RCEP participation.
Thank you very much. And Kimura-san, so please close. Very brief comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I think now it's very important for East Asia to claim that a freer trade, freer investment agenda are very, very important. And that message is very, very important for the world. So we are doing TPP 11 now. So even if we would have 11 minus alpha, still it's worth doing. And also RCEP is an ASEAN initiative. And then we have a sort of discussion between speed of negotiation versus the contents, but so eventually we have to make a sort of multi-tiered negotiations. So we have to conclude some basic portion first and then negotiate further later. So I think then the role of Japan together with India, China, is extremely important. I think in tariff negotiations, basically the matter of India and also the negotiation between China and Japan. So I think we have a lot of responsibility for in order to conclude RCEP.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry that the time is running up, and I apologize that we didn't have time to question the discussion to panelists. So I would ask all the attendants for distinguished panelists the applause, please. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。パネリストの皆様に今一度大きな拍手をお送りください。 パネリストの皆様がご退出されます。大きな拍手でお見送りください。